Next up on Tuned Into NoCo, we have the City of Fort Collins lead indoor air quality specialist, Selina Lujan de Albers, on the show. So Selina, first off, thank you so much for joining us. We're super excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure being on the show.
Definitely. To start, do you mind telling our audience exactly what the Environmental Services Department is all about?
Yeah, so the Environmental Services Department is a department within the City of Fort Collins, and it's composed of three main teams, and that's our climate team, our waste reduction and recycling team, and our air quality team. And I sit within our air quality team. We focus on outdoor air and indoor air, and I lead our indoor air quality programs for the city.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, you guys are offering air quality workshops on July 21st and August 4th. What should people know about these workshops?
Yeah, so as we know, wildfires in our area and other states, it doesn't matter really where there are, the smoke of those wildfires are starting to impact the air quality that we breathe, outdoor and indoors. So we are wanting people to prepare their homes in the event of a wildfire, again, nearby or in a neighboring state. And as a part of that, we're wanting to provide education on what people can do in their homes to protect themselves and their homes from exposure to wildfire smoke specifically as an air quality concern.
Wow, that's super neat. What time do these workshops happen on the 21st and 4th?
Yeah, so they're both on a Thursday in the evening from 6 to 7. They're only an hour long. And we've been partnering with Ace Hardware to provide free air filters, furnace filters specifically, to homes that participate.
Cool. And where will these be happening?
So they're all online via Zoom. We actually just wrapped up our in-person ones that took place at local parks, and that was a lot of fun. And so now we're offering online options just in case people miss the in-person events, and also to be COVID safe, knowing that numbers are still tending to fluctuate up and down a little bit. So wanting to keep people safe and also give the option of either online or in person.
Definitely. So do you need to register for this event?
Yeah, so the best way to register is actually on our website. So it's fcgov.com/healthy homes. There's 2 links there depending on which day you would like to join us. And it's just a Zoom registration. So we just need your name and email address. That way we can send reminders and also make sure we can get you your coupon for a free furnace filter.
How cool. All right, you guys heard that. Definitely check out the City of Fort Collins workshops happening July 21st and August 4th from 6 to 7 p.m. For more info on how to register, you can visit fc.gov. Super awesome, very convenient. It's a Zoom workshop, so you can really attend it from anywhere. You'll also receive a free furnace filter if you attend, so definitely check it out. Kind of going back a little bit, Selina, why do you think it's important people attend these air quality workshops?
Yeah, so 4 of the top 5 largest wildfires have occurred in the last 3 years in Colorado. And it's not a matter of if, but when we experience the next wildfire, again, either in our area or in a neighboring community or state, where we will see exposure to wildfire smoke. The biggest concern when it comes to wildfire smoke is that wildfire smoke contains gases and fine particles that really can have a detrimental impact on human health. And so those fine particles, PM 2.5, are measured via the Air Quality Index. It's a wonderful tool that can also be found on our website that really gives us a good idea of what the air quality is on a day-to-day basis. And when wildfires are occurring, again, nearby or around us, that's a good tool to use to determine what are we being potentially exposed to. A good indication of if you're being exposed to wildfire smoke is if you can see it or smell it. But sometimes when the wildfires are far away, it's not always that clear as to whether or not the air quality outside is poor because of it. And that tool really helps us tune into what's going on outside, what's the air like, and what are we potentially breathing in. And so there are definitely more high-risk groups when it comes to wildfire smoke. For example, children, pregnant people, adults older than 65 years old, or anybody with a pre-existing condition. And fine particles in the air, indoors or outdoors, have linkage to asthma attacks, and then for those with underlying conditions as extreme as like heart attacks. So it's really important that we do whatever we can in the event of a wildfire to make sure our homes are prepared, we're prepared, and that way we don't have to worry so much about our health in those events.
For sure. You don't realize how much it affects you physically. I was reading before this interview, the Environmental Protection Agency was saying that it also prevents your body's ability to get rid of materials that like contain viruses and bacteria, which I had no idea. I thought that was super interesting. So is it mainly filters that help with the air quality, or is there more to it?
Yeah, so the more in these events, and that's why I'm so excited about these workshops, because we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the information. There's a lot of different things that you can do, including certain activities. So, on a day-to-day, we cook dinner in our homes, we clean, vacuum. Well, when there's wildfires, we actually have to be really careful about activities in our homes to not introduce more fine particles in the air by those activities, because wildfire smoke can enter into our home regardless of how sealed up it is, in cracks and crevices, through our ventilation systems. It's amazing what some people's furnace filters look like after wildfire season, really? During our last wildfire. And so by providing filters is definitely one major tool, and regularly changing out those filters is an important piece of making sure that the air in our home is secured and free of those fine particles.
For sure. So it not only benefits our overall health, but it also helps keep our houses clean, up to date, and hopefully keep them away from a ton of repairs that will probably happen if it continues. So you said there's like buildup in furnaces when wildfires?
Well, right. So from the wildfire smoke, that enters into the home. We can see like a lot of particle buildup from the furnaces just filtering out those particles.
Right.
So it's likely that furnaces filter specifically, well, in general, it's recommended that if you have air conditioning, that you run that air conditioning, and your furnace works through your air conditioning to still filter the air, so your filter is still catching everything. Yeah. And it's likely during a wildfire that's going to catch a lot more, right, in terms of particles, dust. And so being on top of that allows your furnace filter to work the best it can. And it also makes sure that the air in your home is staying clean and fresh.
For sure. Is it a fire hazard as well if you don't change those out?
That's something I would have to check into specifically. Yeah. I haven't heard of that. I mean, I think if it's like you like never change your furnace filter and there's like a mass accumulation that happens with inside your furnace, yeah, potentially. Okay. More of the fire hazards come with like behind the ductwork within your dryer, like not cleaning that out.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I think it could depend on the furnace and the age of it and all of that. But I haven't heard a whole lot about furnace fires being a major concern.
For sure.
But it could, never say never. It could happen. So all the more reason to maintain the appliance for sure.
Right. And you'll be discussing all of this in the workshops, correct?
Yeah. We're going to provide all the information about, who's impacted, why it matters, what are the tools available. Something that we're going to talk about is how you can create your own portable air cleaners. And so those are just smaller air cleaners that you can move from room to room. Really, they're functional in smaller areas, but not so much as like a whole house filtering system. And so we're going to talk about like how you can create your own, and then also more long-term options too in terms of air filters.
Cool. Well, these workshops sound super interesting. Let's kind of switch gears here now. Let's talk about you. How did you get into what you're doing? How did you get involved in these workshops?
Yeah, so I've been with the City of Fort Collins for about 10 years, which is hard to believe. I came straight out of college into an intern position with the Healthy Homes program, which is our main program where these workshops are coming out of. And I just fell in love with the program. I'm a sociologist and social worker by trade, and landed in this public health space, which has been very rewarding. And when COVID hit, we weren't able to go into homes to do assessments like we used to. And so we started thinking about how we could transform the programs to still meet community needs and get the education out there and make sure people had all the resources needed, especially when we experience things like wildfires and the smoke that comes with it. And so that birthed the ideas of workshops. And so we've been doing a couple of different workshops throughout the year. We did a fire safety workshop in partnership with Poudre Fire Authority, and that was amazing. They're incredible. And then we did a Keep It Clean workshop, which focuses on how to keep fine particles and dust out of the home. So very similar ties into this wildfire smoke workshop. And then now we're focusing on wildfire smoke. And then next we're going to focus on radon. So we are everything indoor air quality. And so it all ties in together. And really we're finding that being a little bit more specific and targeted in terms of our outreach is just really helpful for the community to be able to take the information and implement. Because when you think about all those combined, that's kind of overwhelming.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. You mentioned radon. Are you guys going to be doing workshops for that in the future?
Yeah, so October is Radon Awareness Month. And so we're looking at different options to do similar workshops around how to help people test their home for radon. It's funny because our test kits are kind of complicated. And so it's one of those things that we want to be a little bit more helpful in that space, where we can walk through like how to set up the test, what are some key things to know about the test, knowing because they're time sensitive. So really being able to provide that information. And I'm getting excited because we're trying to find creative ways to get the information out into the community. So October is what we're looking at right now for that workshop.
We'll look forward to that. Selina, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
Oh, just that there's a wealth of information on our website. We are continuing to offer assessments on via the phone, and we also have an online option for a home assessment, which allows you to assess different ways you can improve your home's indoor air quality. So that resource is still there. We're here for you. And then whoever is interested in participating, sign up, and any questions, shoot them my way. I'm happy to answer.
Perfect. So you mentioned a phone number, and then you have an email address that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so my phone number that I can be reached at is 970-224-6129. Leave a message there. I'll get back in touch with you as soon as possible. And then a good email address is slujan@fcgov.com.
Perfect. Well, Selina, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.
Again, you guys definitely check out the City of Fort Collins workshops on July 21st and August 4th from 6 to 7 p.m. For more info on how to register for these air quality workshops, you can visit fcgov.com.